4 days ago, we had a massive dip in crypto prices that left many wondering if this little bull run we have been in for the last couple of months is over. But for the last 4 days, we have been trading sideways on pretty much everything Bitcoin, altcoins. We are seeing things like Ethereum maybe start to tease that they're about to break to the upside, but there's something popping up on the charts telling us that a big breakout is coming, not only for Bitcoin and Ethereum, but for the altcoins as well. You need to be prepared and be ready. Are you about to buy? Are you about to sell? Let's take a look into those charts and discuss what you should be doing. Let's start off here by going over to Bitcoin. Now, as I told you, again, pretty big fall down, over 15% on Bitcoin. Not that that's a whole heck of a lot, but compared to the falls that we've had over this whole bull run, this was actually the largest pullback that Bitcoin has seen since October of 2023. Since that time, though, again, as I said, we've been trading in this tight little range here with a couple of outliers, but as a whole, we seem to always be hitting our heads somewhere here on 43,300, cannot get above it, and with the exception of a couple different breakouts, 42.4, 42.5 has been a nice level of support. But you will notice when we pull up the Bollinger Bands here on the 4-hour chart, after some massive volatility in that dip, we are back into a zone of constriction. And that zone is actually pretty close to what we're looking at here with this little pocket we've been in Bitcoin's price. But it's not just Bitcoin that we're seeing this same constriction of Bollinger Bands. We're seeing it here on Ethereum. Maybe not as tight, but definitely starting to tighten up there. We see it on Cardano. We see it on Solana. We see it on pretty much every single coin out there. But for now, let's stick with Bitcoin and talk about what we should be expecting. Now, with this constriction, breakouts are coming soon. Which way should we be going right now? You'll see from the Lux Algo indicator that we have right here looking at highs and lows, this is not helpful at all because we have a 50% chance that the support level down here at 40,000 should be broken. We also have a 50% chance that the high of 49,000 should be broken. So that's not really going to help us out. It gets even more confusing when you come over here and you take a look at Bitcoin or any coin really. You take a look at their liquidations. Let's start off with the 12-hour, seeing in a tight range. If I were to zoom in here for you on Bitcoin, we're pretty evenly distributed. We have some exciting liquidation levels. A lot of shorts will be liquidated either at least here at 43.6, some even more up here towards 44.5, but also if we were to fall, 42.2 holds a lot of longs that could be liquidated, and even more here at 41.3. So you could see a big move here to the upside, clear out these liquidations, or a big move to the downside first and clear out those liquidations. The question is which will happen first. It gets even more confusing when you go out to the 7-day and take a look at these liquidations, where the brightest spot on the entire chart is this price up here at $51,000. That should make the bulls very excited, right? And you see a lot of highlights all along the way. But at the same time, we're starting to see some more pickup down here towards 41,000, some more here at 38,000, and maybe even all the way as low as 35 could get very, very interesting for Bitcoin. So now we head back over to the charts, and let's take a look at a couple other things that could help us maybe make a call as to which way we are going. The first thing I want to do is kind of just zooming out here. We are still respecting a nice trend line here on Bitcoin that has been in place since back here in December on the 11th. We're still holding this rising level of support, still setting these higher lows. That is a bullish sign right here, especially when you look at the fact that we've had the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index recently fall to 52. And in fact, let's actually take a look at that this morning. Let's see what Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index looks like today. Coming over here to alternative.me, we're back up to 64 after hitting 52. But as we've shown before, this is actually something that's happened in the past. Again, we've compared price action in 2019. We'll look at 2019. Hovering right in this region, a dramatic drop in the price. This one actually went all the way down to 27 before shooting up into the 90s. We're back in that kind of zone where we've been hovering between the 60s and the 70s. We did drop down to 52. Already about to see a spike in price. The fact that yesterday we did have a 52 on the Fear and Greed Index, and the last time we had that same level was back here in October, back when prices of Bitcoin were sitting all the way back here at $27,000. That is something that's actually a very bullish, positive flash for Bitcoin. The other thing I'll say, and I've talked about this before, whether you guys have seen the Saturday live stream or yesterday's live stream, even if 49,000 was the top, let's say that we're repeating history back here in 2019. If you're wondering what we're talking about, the golden pocket was hit with that reach to 49,000. very similar to what we saw back in 2019, right? Well, zooming into 2019, after a dramatic fallback of 18%, we shot back up close to those same high levels in what was considered a bull trap. Maybe people thought we were going to higher highs, but we did make it back up to higher levels. Either way, I'm still looking at this big breakout here on the 4-hour chart, and I'm looking at price action we're currently under, and I'm not going to be surprised for Bitcoin to be shooting to the upside, at least back up here towards $47,000 to $48,000. But there's another reason why we should be bullish, and that has to do with our CME gaps. Now, a lot of people have been talking about this one down here, sitting below us at $39,000, but just this weekend, we did come up here and create a brand new one here on the daily chart. Now, my line is a little off here. We do got to go to the opening of the day. You guys will see here, despite the fact that we have wicked up high back up to 43.3, we need to get all the way up to where the day closed on Friday, not just where we wicked to during the day. And that would put us all the way up here towards 43,600. Could we stop right at that range? Yeah, we could. But my guess is that we actually make that push similar to 2019, at least back up towards a $47,000 to $48,000 range. If not, maybe even going a little higher. And like we were looking at with liquidations, maybe make a push to new highs, getting us over the $50,000 range. That's what we're seeing here on Bitcoin. That's what the charts are telling us. But what about the altcoins? Ethereum has been on a little bit of a tear here more recently and has been finding a nice level of support that we discussed just a couple of days ago. After breaking out of this rising channel, we did pull back the other day. Yes, we have some wicks and candles below it, but as a whole, we found support on this rising white line. And there's a lot of signs that Ethereum could be pushing to new highs, especially when you take a look at the fact that coming over to Total 2 continues to climb. And we pull up our indicators here on the 4-hour chart. We recently have gotten a world of bullish activity. First of all, the last reversal was a green dot down here, bullish. We are under a green momentum dot, and the money flow is starting to flow to the upside, as well as our highlight of trends has just recently flashed bright green here on the oscillator. These are all things that are very, very positive. Of course, you do want to keep your eyes on some of these levels above us that have order blocks. But as you come out to larger time frames, we're starting to see, yeah, there's a reversal that just came in here, but we're seeing the oscillators potentially make a gear up for one more good push to the upside. Money flow even on this, after barely crossing negative, is now starting to cross back into the positive. It is looking like, from the Total 2 perspective, which includes Ethereum, that we should be seeing positivity to the upside. So when we see the breakouts that we have coming in on these Bollinger Bands predicting a big breakout coming, and then we look at key support levels and other charts that are leaning more bullish, this all leads us to a perspective of saying that we should be moving to the upside. Now, before I continue on with the video, I do want to give a special shout out to our sponsors here at Investing Bros that are sponsoring this video, and that is NordVPN. You guys, if you do not have a VPN, let me tell you why you absolutely should. Crypto's a crazy place. People are constantly trying to get your keys. They're constantly trying to access your computer. That is the downside of crypto. As positive as cryptocurrency is for giving you freedom, freedom does come with responsibility, and not having security all over your computer, including a VPN, is a massive mistake. But when you use our link and you sign up with VPN right now, there's special offers up to 67% off, depending on how you purchase it. So make sure, check out the link down below. You're not going to be just supporting yourself and making sure you stay secure. It's just another way you can support the channel here for Investing Bros. Give a special shout out to NordVPN for being a sponsor of this video. Heading back over, though, to the charts, what are we looking at? What is the most realistic expectation here? I still think Bitcoin is the key here. Bitcoin is still what we are looking at and saying, hey, this is the deciding factor. And with the fact that we're seeing overwhelmingly bullish narratives coming in here, we're seeing the support level come up, being touched once again. We're seeing the sentiment, and I'm going to explain why this is actually a positive thing. We're seeing sentiment shift more towards fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I mean, if you were to go through news articles right now, there's an overwhelming amount of opinion pieces as to why Bitcoin could dip lower. And they're real, that Bitcoin absolutely could be dipping lower. But when I'm looking at the charts and I'm seeing more support and stability on the charts, and I'm looking at the sentiment of the average retail investor starting to be a little fearful, this is a perfect storm for this breakout of these Bollinger Bands to move to the upside, for retail to be left behind, and for those whales to come up and gobble and maybe take some more profit before a bigger dip. Again, I do think we're going to be seeing a bigger dip to the downside, but they're probably going to be looking at that 47, 48, maybe even going over 50K before they're ready to go ahead and sell off and take a look a little bit deeper. And let's kind of close out with that. We're already at the 10-minute mark here. I don't want these videos to be too long, but I do want to update you guys on what is happening. Let's come out and let's just compare history. You're going to see a lot of people talking about this, so I want to make sure you guys are hearing it from me as well and understanding what history looks like. Now, again, we compared this to 2019. 2019 had a significant pullback here after hitting golden pocket, having a 15% dip, then bouncing back up, which would be in this little area, a little platinum pocket. So you can even use that for your analysis on the shorter timeline. We ended up pulling back 50%, but don't pay attention to the number 50%. Pay attention to the levels we pulled back to. I've said this before, when you have a former resistance level, that is what this was right back here in November of 2018, when you have a former resistance level that you blast through and don't really have significant touches back to. We have a wick here just a couple days later, but when you have that kind of thing happen, it's very normal to pull back to those levels. That's exactly what we did. After having an explosive rally, we pulled back down to this former resistance level. Of course, COVID went a lot deeper, but we don't count COVID. You cannot predict black swan events like the COVID pandemic. The real pullback really should have stopped somewhere here in December of 2019 before, again, a rally into the halving event, and then the bull market comes later. We see something very similar back in 2016. You're going to see a lot of people comparing our current time to 2016. I think this market looks a little bit more like 2019, but I want to pay attention to some of the things that happened in 2016 to be prepared as well. Same thing back here, guys. After a long bear market, a former resistance level sitting right here on 307 was blasted through, going to not new highs for the price, but new highs for that year, followed by a nice 40-something% pullback. Let's see what it was. Yeah, 40% pullback right back to those same levels, retesting that former resistance, turning it into support. So when I look at all of that, we saw the same type of move made in 2019. We saw the same type of move made back in 2016. Where is that level for us? It's going to be coming in right here at about $31,900, $31,800. Yes, I think there's still a chance that we're not done playing up here in these higher zones. Yes, we're still setting higher highs and higher lows, which is a bull trend. But I'm not going to be surprised, once again, for some fake outs to happen, for a pump to come back to the upside, making retail bullish once again before the price officially, actually, whether we come to 47 or whether we go to 52 or 53, pulls back down here, retests this resistance zone, turns it into support, and then we talk about the halving and the bull market that is coming over the next 2 years. It is going to get explosive. That's all I have for you guys in this video. If you enjoyed this and this was your first time watching the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you smash that like button so that we get pushed into the algorithm so that more people can see this type of content. Guys, we prioritize here at Investing Bros doing the best we can to be honest and to be truthful and to help you guys view the markets in a way that you can make decisions for yourself, to learn the technical analysis, to learn how to read the news, to learn how to read the sentiment, and then invest wisely. If that's something you're about, you have found the right channel. Hit that subscribe button. With that said, though, that's all I have for you in this video, and I'll see you in the next one.